Hello, Sebastian. Thank you very much for joining us. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm good, Ian. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you very much. I've had the pleasure of knowing you for quite a few years now, and one of the most famous names in UK general aviation, Pooley rather than Sebastian, that is. Can you give us a little bit of information about how that came about? A bit of history of the positive history of the Pooley's empire.
Yeah, sure. So we've got to go back to just after the war when my father was doing his national service. He spent 3 years with the RAF doing national service, and then 3 years afterwards as an engineer. And then he went to work for de Havilland, and he started to learn to fly. There was a secretary there who he rather liked, and she was flying, and he decided he wanted to spend a bit more time with her, so he decided to take up flying lessons. And while he was doing that, he realized that people were buying their equipment in from Germany, from the US, but there wasn't really a British-based company doing the same thing. And that's when he started. It wasn't called Pooley's in those days. In fact, I think the first company was the Light Aircraft Publishing Company, but that's how it all started.
Excellent. I guess most people know the name Pooley's from most people grew up with the guide, the Pooley's Guide,
Yeah,
the airfield guide. When was that first
absolutely.
published?
So the company started in 1957, and the flight guide came about in the early 60s. The first one was for Europe in 62, first one for the UK in 64, which means that we're coming up for our 60th edition this year. So yes, the 60th edition will be out in November this year, which is incredible milestone, really.
Amazing, isn't it? And of course, now, given the world we live in, it's not just a paper product. You can buy it digitally and stuff as well.
Yeah, and that's been a huge change. I mean, and now that it's available in Sky Demon, in Airbox, Pocket FMS, Airmate, there's a few providers out there that you can buy a subscription to it within, and that's made a huge difference. And I think the partnership of the Pooley's Flight Guide is with a digital provider is a very, very popular option.
Clearly, Pooley's is not just all about the flight guide, though. There's a whole host of. I do believe you manufacture those instruments of torture known as whiz wheels and stuff.
Yes, we do. Very proud to do so. So, I mean, we're very lucky. We've been manufacturing. I mean, we set up our factory in Cranfield, in the village of Cranfield, in the early 60s. And as you said, the whiz wheels, the CRP5s, the CRP1s, are still manufactured there today. But it's not just those. We manufacture knee boards, and we do a lot of hot foil printing. We put logos on people's products as well. So we do quite a lot of bespoke work. And a lot of what we've been doing in recent years is moving towards more bespoke products for schools. Everybody loves to have their name on their product. And it always strikes me that when you're in the cockpit of an aircraft, let's say you're flying a 787, and you pull out your logbook perchance, then it may have the school that you learnt at. So it may have an Oxford on it, or an L3, or a Flight Trainer Europe on the cover, and that there's a chance for a story. Oh, okay, that's where you went. That's really interesting. So it's a good thing to have, and the factory does mean that we can do a lot of things in house, and we can turn it around pretty quickly.
I believe you. I mean, clearly you do an awful lot of book publishing and courseware publishing. And how's that all going? Because the CA, there's been quite a few changes recently.
Yeah, absolutely. So as you say, we're a big publisher of aviation technical books, and we've actually got quite a few coming out at the moment. So there's a new one that we're producing for helicopters. So it's going to be PPL helicopters technical book. We've got a new microlight questions and answer book coming through. We've just recently done a new syllabus, version of the syllabus for the British Microlight Aircraft Association, BMAA. But in particular, we have been overhauling our Air Pilots Manual series to reflect the changes that the CAA have incorporated into their new e-exams. So they came out in October last year. There was a Pathfinder program that you'll remember that a number of the schools went through. And I think one of the issues, or one of the worries, was for the instructors. So the PPL instructors used to have the paper exams. They used to be able to see the questions. They used to be able to give feedback to their students. They don't see the questions anymore. That was part of the idea that the CA had to ensure the security of the new question bank. Which in my mind is a great idea, but change is always a worrying period, and so we want to reassure all the PPL schools that we're doing a huge amount of work in the background to ensure that the APMs, the Air Pilots Manuals, reflect the changes in the new exams. So we had a catch up with the CA recently, and just asking them how the new exams are going. They are very pleased with with the rollout. They're very pleased with the pass rate. And I suppose if they're pleased with the pass rate, then that means that the material that the students are studying is apt for the e-exams. So that's quite reassuring. Having said that, we're still updating the products themselves, and we'll see a few changes to the Air Pilots manuals over the course of the next 2 or 3 months.
Thank you very much, Sebastian. I'll be talking to you later in the week, I think.
Fantastic, Ian. Thanks very much for your time today.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed that, please give us a like, leave a comment and subscribe.